Americans Month is Communities of Strength. And so we've got a great community here in DeKalb County, and especially at Central DeKalb Senior Center. So we can get out of the blues and get back to communities of strength. Here's Sandy Bramlett and the Pandemic Blues. Take it away, Sandy.
I should have some blues music playing, shouldn't I? Well, Older Americans Month has begun, and so I'm grateful to have an opportunity to be one of the presenters. I'll also be presenting later in the month to the wider organization. Not this same presentation, but this one I think will be recorded. So if you want to, you don't need to take notes. It'll be recorded. Also, I'm going to ask Valerie to post a handout with this too. But I think I don't know about you, and I would be very happy to hear from you. You can unmute yourself because I'd like to know what, just kind of briefly, your take on where we are now. We've been over a year in this pandemic, and we're getting to a new place. And so I'd like to know what your take is on it. Anybody you can raise your hand and unmute yourself so you don't all talk at once. I'd love to hear from you. It's called a conversation. Let's have a conversation. Cookie? Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big talker. I'll talk. Where we're at, I'm hoping that because we've had to stop in our tracks and not be so busy, that we've slowed down enough to be more grateful for what we have. I'm hopeful that a lot of the inequities in the country are going to be addressed because they're highlighted. That's not to say that there's horrific sadness over the loss that people have had from this. But I think the slow return to some sort of normal behavior may make us appreciate what we just took for granted before. A simple lunch with a friend was like, so what? Now it's a big deal. And all of this, seeing people that we haven't seen, So I'm hoping that a lot of positive comes out of it in between the heartbreak, of the loss.
I agree. I think one of the big things in this reason for it, the blues, and one of the things on my list is the loss in all areas, not, of course the human loss is huge, but there is grief or loss of activities, loss of jobs. So there is loss in a lot of areas, financial loss that a lot of people have suffered. And so I agree with you. I think this is, when people say, we're going to return to normal, I'm like, I want to see a new normal. I'm like you. I think we've had time to slow down and really come to grips with what matters, what's important to us personally and as a group. And I think we've had a great opportunity through the connection that we've had through all these months that the Senior Center has provided a connection. And I'm singing to the choir here, but there are people who are not connected that are like probably snarky and going to stay in the blues because they haven't taken that step, to connect, but there's still time and we can do that. But I agree with you. Anybody else have anything you want to add or say or comment? Kathleen? Amy?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll just say that I'm gingerly trying to think of what I can do now that I'm vaccinated, perhaps do without a mask or even still with a mask. And I'm a little bit worried about what's ahead, just because I don't know what the new normal will look like, and then how soon, we'll have some other curveball that hits us with this thing. I'm not sure that we're entirely out of the woods, and we're not going to be for quite a while. So it's a bit uncertain. I'm feeling a lot of uncertainty now.
I agree. I'm with you. We've gotten to be a little gun shy, with the, like, oh, no, we're not. Yeah, yes, we are. Oh, we're not. And then,
Yeah.
so I was out of town over the weekend visiting a friend in North Carolina, and it's all different there. And she made the remark, we were in town, and we were in Brevard, which is, a place where
Mountain.
people, there are a lot of tourists starting to come to Brevard. She said,
Right.
okay, now I want you to watch. She said, there are the people that have on no masks are the tourists. The people that are wearing the mask, whatever age they are, those are the people who live here. And I thought, that's really interesting, because here are people coming from Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, and they're just larking around and not social distancing, not wearing a mask. And and she works in a retail store. So they monitor how many people come in. And there are a lot of people that get real snarky about that. They don't, and they have to wear masks while they're there. Ladies, when you're in a boutique, you're touching stuff. You're all over the place and trying things on. So they really have to be aware of that, as the owners and the employees are there, and other people who come in, not so much. So that was something that was interesting to me. Marion, how about you? Got anything?
I do. Well, one thing I have to say is that I'm really grateful that I still have a job and that I didn't lose the job. So we did have to reimagine how we connect with our members. And hopefully everyone reads Victoria's emails on Monday. And I had mentioned to her about the motivation, because we hear so much gloom and doom. So I do get a lot of motivation and inspiration on my emails. So I thought I would share them, because that helps me. And I know it helps some of our members.
I think it helps all of our members who read them. I'm the same way. People say, well, Sandy, you're so stupid. You're an optimist all the time. Like, yeah, well, we all got to get through this.
Right.
And that, some people are naturally more optimistic, but having that motivational moment and those little funny things and doing, we have to take a risk. We have to be a little bit silly sometimes. It's risky to be silly. And if you know me, you know that I'm so willing to take that risk. Right, Donna? You can shake your head.
Right, you're totally serious. I know.
But you're exactly right. We can bury ourselves in the gloom and doom and the pandemic blues, but we can be realistic about where we've been, where we are now, and how we want to be as time goes on. We can be realistic about that. And we do have a point that we can reimagine or re-envision how we want that to look. So this has been a pause that allows us to do that. Anybody else have anything you want to?
Well, one of the things that I realized, first of all, I love what Marion said about and the emails from Victoria and Marion. That's so wonderful. Every day there's a boost. I don't know how they keep it up. Way to go.
I don't know either. It's
Thank you,
not,
Marion.
I have to tell you, it's
Yeah.
not an easy thing
No.
to come up with
And,
something to,
Yeah, that's amazing. And also I feel like I'm behind. It's like, yeah, I'm getting older and I need to do stuff because I don't know, so I just want to, and it's slowing me down is difficult. And um, it's been good in many ways, but I'm ready to do something else.
well,
And I'm
I've
just,
seen you out there. You haven't slowed down very much, but I know what you mean. I was talking to somebody and I said, I had some plans for this age I'm at right now. And then uh when my schedule changed and it wasn't jam packed like it was the 1st of March in 2020, and I wasn't rushing here and rushing there, I thought, oh, I've got some time. I can do stuff. And then I said, oh, no, I can't do stuff. I can't go anywhere. And so I felt like, oh, I just love to take a cruise. Oh, I just love to take a trip. Oh, that's not going to happen. And now I'm a year older, and but I'm not going to play into that at all. So anyway, but you're right. We had plans, and we can still have plans, and that's part of my point. We don't. It's a, I would say, a bump in the road. It's not a crevasse that we're going to fall into. So you got to lighten up and be aware. So I'm going to go through this because I do this for myself more than to bore you. The PowerPoint gives me some talking points and maybe will give you some ideas. So I'm going to see if I can't make that happen uh, right now. Yep. And I know our administrator will tell me that, right?
Yes, we see it.
All right. Do you see all that stuff on the side, though? All that disgusting stuff? Let's go here. There. All right. So I do, you know me, I'm all about neuroplasticity. And we are really learning a lot about neuroscience in this pandemic and how to beat the pandemic blues. Brain strategies, and I think you have another talk tomorrow about communication and speech and hearing and so on. But it really does play into brain science or brain plasticity. And if you've been in my Ageless Grace class, you know that that's a big deal for me. It is a big deal for all of us, and it's what we all are. So all of our habits, which are, our neural pathways, have been changed, have had to change in the last year. We've been doing different. And we've had health concerns and we've had financial concerns and all the mental and social changes. And we've, however, created new habits. So we've created some new neural pathways that are now the pandemic pathways or the COVID neural pathways. And you were mentioning, what's it going to be like when we get out there in the world? And we're not out of the woods yet, so that is something to give some thought to. Here's some things that you might do to keep your brain sharp, because that will help you deal with whatever comes along, whether it's everything wide open or things we have to think about a little bit when we go out. But for you to keep sharp, and that really does mean play. And I want to say, Dr. Sanjay Gupta's new book puts moving as get moving, not just exercise, but get moving as one of the primary things. So playing, being, I don't know, creative like a kid, and not doing the same thing over and over again stimulates our brain. So we've been doing differently, but we need that stimulation. Journaling is a good idea. I haven't done any of that journaling. I have moved and I have been creative, as I'm sure you all have too. And And that's really important. This is the time that, as we get older, we stop being so creative and imaginative. It seems like such a childlike thing to do, but it's very, very important. And it served us well during the pandemic to be creative and come up with new things, just like we were saying, Marion and Victoria and everybody else comes up with something new. Jillian comes up with a new class or having something new, and using imagination and creativity is very, very important throughout our lives. We have 5 primary brain functions, and creativity and imagination are one part of that. Hum or sing, believe it or not, after I've talked for a while, I'm not going to try to sing, but my voice gets better because I haven't talked very much. And so this morning, so that happens to all of us. We get that. We don't use our voice as we normally would when we're in our house or we're staying close to home. And if you're the only one there, like I am, I do make it a point to talk to the dog, but she doesn't give a hoot about what I say. She just looks at me and wants food. So humming or singing, and I don't mean you have to have a singing voice. Whistle, use your voice so that you hear your voice. Take a walk. Boy, we are so fortunate in this area to have so many beautiful places to walk, even behind the center, and just around in the paths that are right there, going to look at the garden, but the paths in the nature preserve and all through, and the things that Ranger Jonah has posted about the walks and the things that he's shown us in the forest that we might not see otherwise. And then when you take that walk, you can look for those things. So take a nature walk and have a belly laugh. I mean, really a belly laugh. And you can pretend laugh. That's always possible. I pretend laugh a lot because it's good for your respiratory system. It's good for your circulatory system. And it's a great way to release positive hormones, the endorphins, the serotonin and the dopamine, and the things that are the feel good hormones or chemistry for our body. We have plenty of cortisol. That's the stress hormone. We want to tamp it down with those feel good hormones. And if you just pretend and laugh at a funny story or just laugh out loud or sing, you're going to feel better. And it's because of our body chemistry. So a good belly laugh is a great thing. That's why Victoria always includes something, some funny story, or thank you all for sending yours. Connect with people like you are now. There are always people that are not on these calls. There are people that don't want to Zoom. Maybe they don't like it or they haven't learned how. And I don't know. Send them a note, call them. That's why we have a call list to stay connected. And for anybody, it's not just older people, it's everybody. Kids have taken a hit also.
Sandy,
Attempt something new.
Sandy, I don't think the slide hasn't advanced.
Is it on it's still on Keep Sharp?
No, it's on the first page.
Okay, let me go back. It advanced for me. Let's see. Now has it?
No, it's not.
No? All right. Let me try again. I'm going to share my screen. And let's see how about now?
Now it's on Keep Sharp, yes.
Okay. So, oh, well, thanks. I've been talking about this for a long time now. But attempt something new. That doesn't mean you have to perfect it. Take a risk, take a chance, try something new. Maybe, oh, we have the ukulele class. That's something new. That's a great way to keep sharp and to stimulate your brain and to create a new habit and something you might enjoy. Um, at least you are staying physically active, challenging your brain by doing something physical. You have to do something physical for your brain to really activate, because that's why puzzles are not that puzzles and crosswords and things like that only activate a couple of parts of the brain. But we know that the role of the brain is to manage the body. And so the body has to be doing something for the brain to say, oh, okay, I can make you do that better. I can help you learn how to play the ukulele. I can help you learn how to speak Italian. So practice gratitude, of course. And that's every time. All of these things are forever, not just for COVID. And become that risk taker. Eat well, healthy. Well means healthy. Get your Z's, so don't stay up way late. And get up with the morning light, maybe. That's a good way. Morning light now is 6:30 a.m. Chill. So chill. Music, meditation, prayer, reading, whatever allows your heart rate and your nervous system to calm, do that. And that'll, change your physical body, your mental state, and your emotional well-being will be enhanced. Get outside yourself. Who have we been with most? Oh, ourselves. And so we're really good at talking about ourselves. And I didn't make all these things up. These keep sharp things are things that I've thought about because I've had to deal with, the COVID pandemic blues. Get outside yourself and have a buddy, somebody that you're accountable to. That if you blow off going for that walk, they're going to say, hey, are we going for a walk or not? And be accountable. That is something that is really, really important to keep us going, especially when we've been off to ourselves. All right, I don't know if this is going to change or not, but we'll see. I don't know. Whoop. I can't tell if it does. Nope.
There you go.
All right, so neuroplasticity is exactly how the brain maintains and changes what we do, our habits. So we can change our functioning, we can change our habits. So one of the things that we've done is gotten into slower habits. That's a good thing. But we've got into a habit of being maybe too removed. So we can change that. If we feel bad or we feel blue, you can change that. You can. So neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to structurally change and functionally change over time. With practice, with brain and body together, not just the brain, but the brain and body engagement to create new neural pathways. So look at all the new neural pathways we've created in the last year. And then it might be a little difficult, and maybe rightly so, to go back to our old neural pathways, because some of them we might want to let go of because they no longer serve us. And those are the things that we want to look at. We want to have an opportunity. This has been a pause for us to re-envision or to create the new normal. And you can do that. You can create that. Holding that vision and doing something and practicing is how you do that. So just to let you know that it's not your fault that it's all seems like it's been gloom and doom. We are hardwired to imagine the worst case. But we are no longer in those caveman days or worrying about the hairy mammoth coming after us or whatever. So we can change our brain and create positive habits based on what we want to do. We can learn new ways with physical activity and regular practice, just like learning how to play the piano, how to play the ukulele, how to speak another language, how to drive a car. We can do that, but it does take physical action. It's not book learning. You can imagine, and we do know from neuroscientists that imagining something and doing it are not all that different. Our brains light up the same way, as if we're imagining and actually doing. So using your imagination is incredibly important for making those changes. It's not book learning. So our brains have gone wild with what ifs, patterns and habits have been uprooted, some of them for good, and what we thought would work hasn't. And that's constant. Our physical, mental, and emotional inner workings have been thrown into chaos. Things have been chaotic, but we're in a pattern now. We're in a new pattern. So here we are because we're resilient. And that neuroplasticity has a lot to do with our resiliency. So you all are hugely resilient. And I know Victoria's mentioned that over and over again in her posts, and so have other presenters. And so here we are. And here we are, a little bit stressed, anxious, fearful, angry, whatever, about what's next. I don't know about you, but I am a little bit anxious about how to be in a big group. I teach big groups. I'm in big groups, but I haven't been for a while now. And so going back into teaching in a studio and interacting with other people and strangers, and then using a space that's bigger than my living room to dance around in when I've only been dancing in my living room for the last year, I have a little trepidation about that, a little anxiety about it. How has my body changed in the last year? Will I measure up? And so all these things, because I start a hybrid class with my NIA group of dancers on this coming Sunday. And some people will be in the studio and some people will be on Zoom. I've just gone into a quandary about how am I going to be? How am I going to be? And it's not all about me, but I've really had to deal with, do I measure up? So we've been accustomed to being isolated. We've got our routines down. And I only have to go from my bedroom to my living room to teach that class, but now I have to get in my car and drive over to the dance studio. And I have to stick to that tight schedule, that I have to get everything ready. And we all have been in that place. Maybe we're nervous about the fact that we found balance, and I could lose that balance in my life, that calm, the fear of losing the positive change that we found. I even have thought about how am I going to make small talk? When I visited my friend and I realized that a couple of her friends were going to be around in a group, how will I make small talk? I haven't done that. How will I meet strangers? That was something that I thought, I don't know if I can do that. But it does come back to you, the good stuff. And it's a point to choose, being judged by others. and having those awkward conversations with people, like they invite you for dinner, and then there's that conversation about, have you been vaccinated? Are you going to be masked? And you don't want to be the killjoy of the group, or but that is a thing. But we do have an opportunity to re-envision. So I would really encourage you to take it slow, see what works and what doesn't. Notice how it feels in your body. If something doesn't work, you're going to tighten up. Your shoulders are going to get tight. Your jaw is going to get tight. So you have an opportunity to choose. Keep things small. Keep gathering small at first, till we get our bearings about us with this stepping into a new way. And focus on the present, what's right now. You don't need to ruminate on something that might happen, because it hadn't happened. Set the stage for yourself, focus on the present, and then prioritize the basics for you, yourself, and listen to what you're saying to yourself. How are you, your self-talk? And then I included have a yippee moment. I think we all ought to have many yippee moments during the day. Do you know what a yippee moment is? That's that point when you say, yahoo, woohoo, done. So changing how we think and feel is available to everyone. We all can do it. We all have the capacity for change. We know that. We've done it. And now we can change again. Laugh out loud, dance, move, take a walk, enjoy a delicious meal, cook something new, experiment. Oh yeah, everybody's, been making bread, and I bought so many preserves and pickles and things from the summer when people were canning things. And all sorts of new businesses have sprung up around that, people being creative and imaginative. Connect to friends and loved ones. Learn to say no. Learn to say no when those things don't work for you, that make you feel like, oh, I was doing so well with that balance and calm in my life, and now it's crazy world again. Don't get there. You have a choice. Find time to be alone in a good way, and stay informed. Become a thoughtful risk taker. Practice something new to you every day. Practice playing more, and learn to pivot. You know what? If you play basketball or whatever, you know what pivot is. You learn to pivot. You change directions. We're very good at that as human beings. We have the capacity to do that, and the more you practice it, the better you get. Honestly, I teach that Crazy Ageless Grace class where we do all kinds of antics and there's music, but the point of all of that is neuroplasticity, and the ability to change and to do different and to be imaginative and creative, to use our strategizing capabilities, analyze the situation, and physically do something and let the brain say, oh, I can help you do that better. The ability to stay focused and to play, because that's how we started out in the first place, not book learning. We learned to roll over. We learned to ride a bicycle, not by reading about it. We learned to drive a car by doing it, by practicing, physically doing it. And then the brain helps us figure that out. And we create new neural pathways, so it seems like we've always done that, We've always had that capability. We haven't. So I would encourage everyone to play more, be playful, be that risk taker, like the enthusiasm of a kid. We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. I didn't make that up. But here we are out there in the wide open spaces, having a frolic on the beach or wherever. And that's what we are actually all looking forward to, that point where we can be carefree And but we can make that point without trepidation. I mean, we can be thoughtful about what we're doing. We need to be. And we have the ability and the opportunity to choose and to re-envision how we want things to be for us personally. Um, and stick with it, practice it, practice it. If you want to have more time for yourself, you do that and you practice it and learn to say no and learn to pivot when you need to. And I think, I'm pretty sure, I'm quite confident, let me put it that way. I'm quite confident that we will come out on the other side, whenever it is. We'll be different. There's no doubt about that. Life is going to be different. But there's no sense in saying it's going to be worse, because we are the ones that can make it a positive change. We can affect that positive change. Each one of us, you know, and how we relate to each other. We're all looking forward to being back at the center. And then we're all saying, oh my God, how's it going to be? It's not going to be like it used to be. Nope, not going to be like it used to be. And there'll be some things that we have to adjust to, which we know we can. We are resilient. And that is that human capacity to create new brain cells and new neural pathways and new habits that serve us well. We create a lot of bad habits, y'all. I've created a lot of bad habits over the pandemic. Staying up late, eating too much. Oh, happy hour every night. And staying comfy in my own little house for way too long, and all those things. Maybe too much television. So I've got some habits, but I know I can change them, and I'm the one to do it. So I would challenge all of you to that, and I'll be anxious to hear how you do it. Sometimes circumstances make those things happen to us. We can be in the driver's seat. So before we go, I'd like to hear from you. Anything that was brought to mind before we close, because we've got about 2 minutes, maybe 3, before it's all over with the shouting. And I will, raise your hand and you can unmute yourself. Amy, Marion, Sterling, Tawny, James, Kathleen, Barb, welcome.
Thank
Anybody?
you. That was wonderful.
You know, the thing is, we have to do it.
Of course. We
It's
will.
like Nike, just do it. But it helps to have a buddy. And
And
that's where community comes in. And if you can be somebody's buddy, you are the likely ones to be somebody's
I
buddy.
agree. I agree. I have my friend Joanne, we walk and stuff like that. And it's why we are accountable to each other.
Yeah.
And it's really good.
And I think, okay, now you've got that down pat. You're accountable. There's somebody out there that is just like in the pandemic blues. It needs a buddy to make them be
We can help
accountable.
somebody
Maybe you're
else.
going to be that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Grow that group.
Absolutely.
Anybody else? Kathleen? You ready? Are you ready to take that leap? Small steps, baby steps. That's for me. I'm taking baby steps because I'm no different from everybody else. I have a lot of anxiety about going forward and whether we'll have some surge, after holidays like we've had before. We've got that, experience. Our memory and recall experience sort of plays into that. And then, oh, yeah, we had that Memorial Day holiday and 4th of July, and then all hell broke loose. And there we were. It could happen again. Well,
We're just gonna do it again.
we can manage ourselves. We can, play by the rules, wear a mask. You know, Victoria says it all the time. It's still true.
We can
Wear
still.
your mask, keep your distance. There are people you don't know out there. You don't know where they've been. You don't know what they've been doing. So be aware, stay focused, and be in the present moment. Cookie, anything you want to add?
Thank you so much. That was really helpful. Everything you said is very helpful. It's sometimes just walking out of your house and watching the birds fly around. You know, we're so much more in touch with nature now.
Yes.
At least I think so. And basically, you know, we don't have a lot of experience with feeling like the rug was pulled out from under us. And
Exactly.
so that's what, for some people, that's what this has felt like. But the fact is, you can't really make plans. I mean, you think you're making plans, but you never know what's going to happen anyway, even in the normal period.
Right.
You know, and so this has just kind of highlighted that. But yeah, we are all so much more resilient than we think we are. You know, that's
There's something that I have realized about that too, that resilience and feeling like the rug has been pulled out from under us. We all have lived long enough
Yep,
to have had things happen in our life that we didn't plan for. I
exactly.
believe that a younger generation, woo, thunder,
Oh, here it comes. Yeah,
they haven't had that experience, you know, and so that coming back from the rug being pulled out from under them is.
Yeah.
Kathleen, you had something?
no, I was just going to say round 2 of the storms is hitting now.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yep, here it comes. It just flashed as you see it. I was,
Yeah, right on time. So,
it's about time to close out.
yeah.
See, unexpected things, but, and nature is, I have to say, I've been watching the bluebird couple in my bluebird house raise their young.
Wow.
And then while I was gone, they flew the coop. I was waiting for them to get on the edge and fly out, and I could see them fly because I've been feeding them. And then while I was out of town,
You missed
they
it.
must have flown away. And so hopefully another group will be back. Anyway, I'm flying the coop now.
Thank you.
And so stay safe, have fun. Join me in Ageless Grace. We'll have a good time. We'll laugh a lot, I guarantee you. And there's music, and you're moving. And you'll have to come up with something new every time. Challenge your brain. It's all fun. You know, play more. All right, that's it for me. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.